Adding assets to your register. CSV and manual addition. Asset Manager and Service Manager combine to make it as easy as possible for you to create a comprehensive, information-rich register of all your assets. This not only provides you with information on what you have and what it's worth, but also with a wealth of management information and reports. For maximum flexibility, there are 3 methods which you can use to create asset records. Depending on your circumstances and existing records, all of these may be applicable. These are importing records from a CSV file, importing records manually, suitable for small numbers of items, perhaps more unusual or one-off assets, and auto-discovery of networked ICT assets, which we'll cover in a separate video. The fields you're recording this information into are highly configurable to meet your particular needs, as also covered in another video. Let's look first at importing a CSV file, as this is likely to be a process many establishments will use. We'll use fire extinguishers as an example. These and their records are critical to your establishment's fire safety compliance and may need to be accessed and checked at a moment's notice. So they also provide a good example of how useful Asset Manager can be in compliance issues. Here's a spreadsheet of our fire extinguisher data. We may have had this as a Microsoft Excel file, or exported it as such from an Access database. We've now saved this as a CSV file. Now in Asset Manager, having selected Import Export on the ribbon menu, we click on the Import button, which starts the Import Asset from CSV wizard. There are now 4 easy steps to follow. Step 1 is to select and open the CSV file. The contents of the CSV file appear in the table, and we can check that the dataset is correct by scrolling down through this if we wish. Step 2 is to configure the default asset information. We can either select a default asset icon from the library, as I do here, or add a new icon altogether. We select the field from the CSV file from which to name our assets, and locate where we want them to sit within the hierarchy. Here we're adding them underneath water-based extinguishers. This is step 3. And now the 4th and last step. We match the fields in our CSV file with the asset fields we've already selected for our category. The fields we see here on the left are those we set up in our asset category. Those on the right, the corresponding fields from our CSV. We only have to match these once for each import. However, as we've chosen to match quite a lot of fields, in this instance we're going to leave the process partway through and return to it as we match the final fields. With the last fields matched, we set the process in motion by clicking the Import button. This may take a few seconds, so again we come back when the process is completed. With the import complete, Asset Manager prompts us to refresh the view in our browser. Incidentally, in Windows we can do this by pressing Ctrl and F5. With our browser refreshed, we now go and look in our asset hierarchy. Under Fixtures and Furniture, Fire Extinguishers, and water-based extinguishers, we now have our assets imported. By clicking on the top record, we can check that all of the fields have imported correctly. And they have. The process of importing our assets from a CSV file is now complete. The process of importing records manually is just as straightforward. Here's how we do it. In Asset Manager's Asset tab, we select Add Asset and choose an icon just as before. Now we give the asset a name. This time we do this manually. we decide not to make the fire extinguisher bookable, obviously, and save the asset. Here's our new record, complete with all of the asset fields that we selected when we created the category. We can now complete this information manually. Adding non-networked assets in Asset Manager really is as simple as that. We hope you found this video useful. Please view our other videos on CSV Asset Manager and Service Manager via www.csvassetmanager.co.uk. Do contact us if you want further information, and thanks for watching.